Small shops have a huge responsibility in the immediate need of guitar players in their communities.
It's that lifeblood of keeping a musician playing and keeping people's instruments, you know, playing well.
I have some news. So you've seen on the channel, I made a video that was talking about my last video in the studio, but before I leave town, I have to show you what is going on in Hometown Music. This is my friend Chris.
Hey.
Chris is a friend, a mentor, and a former employer. Got a job in Louisiana, we're moving back, but before we go, I wanna show you this place. I'm very grateful for what this place is and what it means for the Harrisonburg community. So can we poke around?
Let's do it.
This has become all of the accessory spot, brands that I love and I'm super excited about that we've talked about. I love Stringjoy. They're one of my favorites, and we're always sold out of the Foxwoods in particular.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't matter how much more we choose to stock and back stock. So keep making them, Stringjoy.
They're so good.
Keep needing them.
But getting people into some of the more fun, more funky things has been really exciting and cool. The pedal part of this business has really grown since we took it over.
Yep.
Franklin straps are awesome. I love these seatbelt straps. I have 2 of them, and I love those. Love the leather straps. It is always hilarious to me when people will come in and they'll like, hey, what's the best you can do on that guitar? And they pull out their phone. Could you do $18.99? Like they pretend like we don't know about Sweetwater or Reverb.
I already know I'm selling it for what Sweetwater's selling it for.
Yeah. What's the lowest you'll take for it? What's the most you'll pay for it? that number. The biggest thing when we set up just the layout of this shop is that we wanted to have a center of the room that was cool and like we talked about it being a third place. Guitar shops for me, when I was coming up, you had like home and school and work, but you didn't have a place that was like just hanging around the music shop, hearing old guys talk about guitars. And so that's why we planted 2 couches right here in the middle of the shop, because we really want to prioritize cool, grab a cool instrument, come sit, and then also we kind of sit here because there are people coming and wanting to talk to us.
Yep.
One of the lines we picked up pretty early on was Eastman, and I think especially for mandolins, I don't think there's any company that's even close. I mean, Recording King is good. There's some others that are kind of in that same world, but for me, like the Eastman MD 305, the 315 right here, and then the 515, and this is the limited edition, the black one. But it's always, this is an amazing quality of instrument for really fair prices. I think being in the Shenandoah Valley, having good options for banjos and mandolins is kind of a no-brainer. One of the things I had to switch in my brain, and I've been doing it in this video, is calling it a guitar shop. It's not a guitar shop, it is a music shop. And so one of the things that really took over was really prioritizing pianos and keyboards. And it's been a huge part of the shift of the business, has been focusing on that, because there are still way more piano players and way more key players than there are guitar players or drummers or bassists, probably more combined. I was nervous about how much slat wall there is, and now I'm glad that
glad we didn't go for less.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, like, stuff is to the ceiling, and but we've needed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because Gator cases, as we've stepped in, they have such good solutions for like every kind of instrument, keyboards, guitars. There's some drum stuff, and then they have the new. I saw some of them earlier, and we'll show them the icons. Gosh,
they're awesome.
I love them. But the back of the shop is where all the drum stuff lives. Chris is our resident drummer.
For better or worse.
Yeah. Yeah. How do drums fit in this world and in this business?
We do Yamaha and Tama as far as our drum and hardware brands. And between those 2 companies, you could serve every drummer on the planet if you needed to.
And I have not spent as much time in like more drum heavy shops, but it does seem like drums, you can either see them or you can hear them.
Yes.
Like, so the best way for me to display them is in the Christmas trees.
Yes.
Because I think that it's beautiful. You can see them, you can see the hardware, you can see the finish, but then you can only really set up 1 or 2 kits. There's an electric kit here, and then an acoustic kit. The main focus of real estate in the shop is acoustic guitars.
Yes.
Acoustic guitar brands Eastman, Alvarez, Fenders,
Yamaha, and Martin.
There you go.
With a little bit, with some Ibanez in there as well.
So on the racks here, we generally have put them from the most affordable to the most expensive, but then you get kind of niche things within there. And also it's always this like musical chairs where it's always like, oh, there's an empty hook. Move a guitar over there. One of the guitars that we do have a really special relationship with is Steve and Showalter Guitars. We had for about a year, we had maybe 4 to 6 of his guitars. But the power of Steve is seeing him, meeting him, going to his shop, seeing the guitars being built. I mean, it's a magical experience, and it just wasn't getting conveyed here. So when people come in, we do bring him up in conversation. We tell people to go see him, especially because we have enough of a tourist influx that that's one of the places that I try and send people to. We're not Huss and Dalton dealers. I would love for Hometown to be a Huss and Dalton dealer, but they're slammed. They're making lots of guitars. We hope that that opportunity comes up, but you know, it's they're 30 minutes away. It's a wild time to be in guitar retail. What's your strategy for outrunning, you know, a boom and bust guitar economy? And how is this guitar shop going to be here another 20 years?
Well, I'm hoping for a couple of things. One, I hope that we're building on the 23-year tradition that we took over. Until Amazon figures out how to have a drone come pick your guitar up and take it to a master luthier and bring it back to you in, I don't know, 12 hours. You know, you still don't replace physically walking in a door and being like, hey man, how are you doing today? And having that one-on-one. You know, I think the fact that people still need community, they need their third place, and they need somebody who, you know, knows them and has their back. That is the underlying element of why I think we'll be here.
So with that said, I think the hotbed of Kohl's is the service center, because I do think that we're losing the element of the guy in your town that knows how to fix everything that's wrong with your guitar. That's like Steven's gig. It's so stressful when a thing you love and you spent money on doesn't work and breaks.
There's no replacement for experience. You know, at this point, Steve has a decade of service under his belt.
Well, this has been Hometown Music, my favorite music shop in Virginia. I can say that genuinely. Oh. It's the hardest I've worked.
And you have worked hard. You were a huge part of it, and you know, we're incredibly grateful. We also wish you the best in everything that you're doing, and we expect to see you every time you're back in the valley.
I'll come back. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy. This is Guitar Hunter. See y'all later.